Yo, yo, yo. What up, peeps? It's me, again. The last time we left each other, I was praying that I would get to chapter 6. Oh, but before we get to that, a couple of things. First of all, cute nightie, right? I got it for $20 at Kohl's. Vera Wang. Just saying, haven't seen a Vera Wang in, I don't know, 6 years. Got the essentials. Pepsi this time because I need the caffeine. Look at me. It's been a rough week. However, in your honor, I got my nails done. Yeah, and I had the Siberian Husky evicted from my forehead. So, when last we left each other, we were, I was, you guys don't care. I was praying I would get to chapter 6, and I did get to chapter 6. It was not easy. You know what? Here's the thing. I have written many, many, many paranormals. Many, including my ebooks and all sorts of things. Not just the print. And it's been tough, you know. If you can't end a chapter with, I don't know, somebody having fangs or a tail, it ain't easy to have impact, you know what I'm saying? So, some of the things that when you keep it within the realm of a contemporary, and when you try to, you know, make it as true to life as you can. Of course, it's fiction, so whatever. And I'm going to touch base on that in a minute. It's hard, people. Look at me. It's hard. Look, see my bald? Do you see? Ooh, it's on that side. I can't do the opposites because I'm a tard. I have a bald spot. I wasn't kidding. When I had my hair up last week, it was to hide it. So, it's been kind of a rough week. I got a lot of work done. I typically do about 5 to 8K a day. Lately, not as much, because again, you know, I'm also an incessant tweaker. I don't know how to leave something alone. It's the OCD in me, and I tweak. So I find myself in here, you know, shortly after I wake up and read my emails and whatever, tweaking. And then I'll go off and do household chores or whatever and prepare for dinner, go do errands, and I'll come back in here and tweak. And then I'll tweak some more. It's pathetic, I know. So it doesn't help when you're trying to get to your word count. But for the most part, I'm pretty good during the course of this book, about 4K a day. So, any hoodles. Maxine is now beginning to evolve. She's finding odd jobs to make ends meet, living with her mother. She's walking dogs in the village, the senior citizens village, scooting poop for cash. She's running the bingo hall at the rec center. And she's having a lot of trouble figuring out who she is right now. She can't, I said again. I need to stop that. I'll never be Katie Couric this way. She is, there's this whole thing that I went through when I was getting divorced. Like, I had this big B on my head, and it wasn't for my initial, where I kind of felt like everybody knew I was a single parent, and that was dirty. And I know that's ridiculous. I never felt that way about anyone that was a single parent, but I felt like that because I felt like I had failed. And no matter how bad things were, to opt out was failure to me, and I couldn't, being the perfectionist that I am, I couldn't bear the idea of failure. So Maxine is experiencing some of that right now, and touching base with trying to get herself out again, and she doesn't care what she looks like, and I know you people find that hard to believe, but there was a time when Dakota didn't care what she looked like. Greasy hair, gray sweatsuits, sneakers untied, tied together sometimes, whatever. I just didn't care, and I remember those feelings so well, and maybe that's why it's taking me so long to get through this, because I want to be sure I depict them appropriately. Which brings me to a little point here. People. Got an email this week. Ding dong. Email calling, and it was not happy with me, because I have a book where the heroine is a potty mouth. Is she a potty mouth? And the woman that emailed me, who turned out to be very lovely, we made friends. Because, you know, I mean, I get it. If you don't want to read the potty mouth, I get it. But she at first assumed that because my character was a potty mouth, I too was a potty mouth and thus unhappy and conflicted. I just gotta say that yes, in some ways some of my characters have traits of mine or traits from people I know, but typically they're a compilation of a lot of people. This particular character, Maxine Cambridge, is probably the closest to me, although not exactly like me. So just to clear up, any misconceptions. The characters that I write them because I can make them up in my head, and that's the whole fun of it, So anyway, I don't really have a whole lot to tell you other than if you have any ideas about where I should go next, I'd be happy to take suggestions. Just, blog them to me and I'll answer you. Either way, I'm determined to try to learn to iron this out because I got 2 more contemporaries to write here, people. And if I'm sticking, in reality, in the real world where there are no werewolves and vampires or, oh God, I just said that, and now somebody's going to email me and go, oh no, my friend, you're mistaken, Miss Author, I'm a vampire, which I've got an email like that. Dudes, I'm all about it. If you're a vampire and you have fangs, and good, cool, I believe you. Rock on. My book doesn't. And a lot of people don't believe in those things, so just a heads up from me to you that if you find skepticism, don't hold a grudge. So anyway, I'm determined to get through this and stick to the conflict between the hero and heroine, which of course is he really, really wants her, and it has baggage of his own, which if you want to know what it is, you're going to have to read the book. I mean, you don't have to. It's, I'm not pushy like that. If you say no, I back right off. In fact, it'd probably be a good idea if you didn't read the book, because, I've heard of side effects after reading my book. Eyeball, bleeditis, and bad. But, of course, he's had baggage at one point, and now he's healing, and Maxine is sort of just coming into her healing. And so, I'm trying to get those emotions just right, because I can't really tap into that. I did not meet Rob until about 1.5 years after I was divorced, and I was, pretty much of the mindset that not all men sucked, and the whole world blew chunks, and guys were just all wanting to, do you, which, that's okay too, if that's what you want. I was just I dated a great deal like Paris Hilton. I had the schedule of Paris. I had a great time. I met a lot of really great guys. But Maxine isn't there. She's still fresh from, the whole getting on her feet. By the time I met Rob, I was on my feet. I knew what I wanted. I was very empowered. I was beat my chest, like Neanderthal style, empowered, and you have to rein that in, You don't have to tell everybody that's yours. Like, you don't have to put a sticky note on it and say, this is Dakota's. But there comes a time when you lose everything and then you regain something that's yours again, that you can become very protective of it. So Maxine hasn't quite hit that point yet. She will at some point in the book. And now I'm just trying to figure out what to do next. So, thoughts, suggestions, they're all welcome. And I'm going to go do that writing thing now. I will check you all next week. Maybe not next week, maybe the week after. Maybe if I get a little more in, I'll have a little more to talk about, other than the fact that, I'm still struggling. Like a fish out of water. So, until next time, come back, okay? It'll be more fun next week, I promise. And I'm going to look a lot worse next week. Next week, I think, is going to bring, like the Haagen-Dazs, a big bucket of it. I'll share with you if you want.